Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever imagined a world where the U.S. military sought out abilities beyond our normal five senses, where intelligence gathering wasn't just about satellites and skies, but about tapping into the very fabric of the human mind?
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into Project Sunstreak, the astonishing declassified psychic spy program of the Cold War.
Quite a story.
Our mission for you is to uncover its improbable origins, the mind-bending training, and the incredible, sometimes unsettling, real-world missions that challenged what we thought was possible. This is just a glimpse of the unique, mind-expanding journeys you can expect from us here at All Sorts Podcast, available on YouTube and all your favorite podcast platforms.
Yeah.
Get ready, because this is going to be a truly revelatory exploration.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is the sheer human drive to gain an advantage, especially in a world shrouded in secrets. When conventional methods hit their limits, how far are institutions willing to venture into the unconventional, into the realm of the, well, unexplained, to find that edge? Project Sunstreak is a prime example of that audacious curiosity.
It absolutely is. And to understand how such a program even came to be, we have to start with an individual right at its heart. Lynn Buchanan. Can you imagine being a child whose anger could literally move objects around them?
It sounds like something out of fiction, doesn't it?
Right. He was what some might describe as a poltergeist child, experiencing phenomena that just defy ordinary explanation. By his early teens, he developed a mental trick, a sort of internal little voice, to help him control these inexplicable occurrences.
It's a remarkable personal story, and it really highlights a profound internal conflict. Here is this natural, innate ability, almost a playful secret maybe, but then at age 14, a deeply traumatic encounter with a Pentecostal minister and deacons convinced him these were sinful abilities. Growing up in the Bible Belt, a region in the southern U.S. known for its strong conservative religious beliefs, this incident deeply ingrained the belief that his talents were actually evil. He spent the next 31 years actively suppressing them, terrified of the spiritual consequences.
31 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time to push something like that down.
It really is, and it's a powerful testament to how deeply ingrained societal and religious beliefs can shape and even bury our understanding and acceptance of natural, albeit unusual, human phenomena.
And it took something truly extraordinary to force those suppressed abilities back to the surface.
Yeah.
Right. Buchanan, now a sergeant, had developed this computer program for NATO.
Mm-hmm.
Just before a crucial demonstration to commanders from like a dozen countries, a rival sabotaged his work. He describes an uncontrollable rage, something he hadn't felt in decades. What happened next was, well, truly astonishing, with consequences reaching across continents.
It was far more than just a personal outburst. At that precise moment of Buchanan's rage, major portions of the entire NATO electronic intelligence network went silent.
The whole network.
Yeah, not just locally. This wasn't confined to the immediate area. The outage affected regions from the North Sea all the way down to Italy, and even intelligence computers as far away as Australia.
Whoa.
And here's the kicker. The communist bloc countries also lost their electronic eavesdropping equipment simultaneously.
Seriously?
At the same time. At the same time. This wasn't a local glitch. It was a systemic, unexplained failure that immediately captured the attention of Major General Albert N. Stubblebine, head of the U.S. Army Intelligence and Security Command.
Ah, Stubblebine. He was known for being interested in this kind of thing, wasn't he?
Exactly. Stubblebine was deeply interested in human potentials and had already tasked officers with identifying individuals who might possess such unusual capabilities. This incident, while devastating for Buchanan initially, clearly showed them he was one such individual.
So his rage basically flagged him for this top-secret program.
Pretty much. This raises an important question, When conventional intelligence methods fall short, how far will a nation go to explore extraordinary human potential?
So his personal suppressed ability became a matter of national security. And his recruitment sounds like something out of a spy novel. A hand-scrawled phone number, a clandestine meeting in a dense, misty fog in a Fort Meade parking lot with a mysterious man named Bill.
Very cloak and dagger.
And then the twist. He learned he'd been declared a wall from his previous assignment, all as an elaborate ruse to bring him into this new top-secret world.
Indeed. This new world was the culmination of a program that had actually started years earlier. Its earliest iteration was Project ScanIt, short for Scan by Coordinates.
ScanIt, right.
The breakthrough came when a viewer named Joe was given coordinates for a target even the project head didn't know. the highly classified Abrams tank.
Okay.
Joe not only described the tank, but drew an incredibly accurate sketch of its interior, even down to the targeting computer display.
No way. From just coordinates.
And just coordinates. The CIA's reaction to this was, frankly, priceless. They raided the project site, attempting to arrest Joe for spying, simply refusing to believe such information could be obtained by mental means.
Wait, the CIA tried to arrest their own guy?
That's the story. That bizarre reaction, ironically, solidified Scan8's unchallenged success.
So the CIA trying to arrest him for being too good was the ultimate validation. That's a truly wild twist in this story.
Isn't it just? From that point, the unit became a formal program, evolving through different iterations like Project Grill Flame and then Center Lane, which was the unit's name when Buchanan arrived in 1984.
Center Lane, okay.
Eventually, it became Project Sunstreak, operating under the Defense Intelligence Agency with CIA involvement.
And the actual place. Buchanan described their base as dilapidated WWII buildings, surrounded by tall weeds. Not exactly Area 51.
Not at all. But he emphasized that the people inside were down-to-earth, cheerful, normal, far from any coven of weird people.
Which is probably not what most people would picture. He also had a unique dual role as both a remote viewer and the database manager, right? Which sometimes meant he wasn't blind to the targets, unlike the others.
That's correct. It gave him a different perspective sometimes. But it's crucial to note that while Project Sunstreak ran for years and generated significant intelligence, it eventually faced a critical review. A 1995 CIA assessment concluded that the program yielded inconsistent results and suffered from a lack of scientific rigor.
The dreaded review.
Yes. This ultimately led to its official termination by the mid-1990s. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights the inherent tension between the empirical demands of science and the often unquantifiable nature of these extraordinary human potentials, especially when they intersect with national security interests.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do you even begin to scientifically prove something as inherently elusive as a psychic ability? It sounds almost impossible. So how do they even attempt to systematize something so unquantifiable with this controlled remote viewing, or CRV? Buchanan himself said it wasn't about teaching someone to be psychic. What was it then?
Well, Buchanan described CRV as more of a physical discipline, almost akin to a martial art.
A martial art. Interesting.
Yeah. It wasn't about conferring new abilities, but about stripping away the mental blocks that prevent us from using the natural, hidden talents we already possess. The training started with developing ideograms, simple graphic representations of basic concepts.
Like symbols.
Exactly. For example, a straight horizontal line might mean land, while a wavy line meant water. They'd conduct repetitive, even boring, ideogram drills.
Sounds tedious.
Extremely tedious, apparently. But this practice wasn't random. It was designed to train the subconscious mind to respond automatically. When given target coordinates, the viewer's hand would instinctively draw an ideogram, like a reflex, creating that first contact with the target without conscious thought interfering.
So the ideograms were about translating subconscious input into a tangible form, almost bypassing the analytical brain. But how did they develop something as abstract as a sixth sense through this ambience training? That sounds even more elusive than the psychic abilities themselves.
Right. Ambience training was considered distinct from psychic abilities, a non-psychic sense, designed to heighten a viewer's general awareness and perception of subtle details. They used a fascinating analogy. If you put a frog in hot water, it jumps out, right?
Yeah.
But if you put it in cold water and slowly heat it, it boils to death. Humans are similar. We're often more sensitive to changes in our environment than to constant conditions. This training aimed to make viewers acutely sensitive to even the smallest shifts in their surroundings, enhancing their overall environmental awareness.
That makes perfect sense. It's like your subconscious noticing the subtle shift in air pressure before a storm, even if your conscious mind hasn't registered it. You hear people say, I had a bad feeling about that place, or something just didn't feel right. Could that be a primitive form of this phenomenon playing out in our everyday lives?
It's certainly possible, sort of baseline sensitivity we all might have.
And then there's pre-reaction. Buchanan had this incredible experience where his foot, entirely on its own, hit the gas and darted his car out into traffic. He later realized a 16-wheeler with a detached front axle was hurtling directly toward where he'd been sitting moments before. His subconscious had taken over, moving him to safety without his conscious understanding.
That really drives home the core idea. The information is often already present in our subconscious mind. The real challenge and the purpose of CRV is getting that unconscious insight to the conscious mind effectively.
Right.
It's not about generating new information, but accessing what's already there, often below the surface of our awareness. However, it's vital to mention a strict warning within CRV when applied to people. Describe, don't try to access.
Describe, don't access. Why?
This was to prevent accidental psychological profiling or mind reading, which could be incredibly dangerous for the viewer's own mental state, blurring lines.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. With these incredible abilities, real or alleged, the stakes were incredibly high. Let's talk about some of the alleged real-world applications where these psychic spies were deployed. The Tehran hostage crisis in 1979-1980 is a prime example.
Yes, a very tense period.
The unit was tasked with tracking the health of the hostages and gaining insights into their captors' mental states. What's truly jaw-dropping is the claim that a viewer allegedly predicted Operation Eagle Claw's helicopter crash a full 10 minutes before President Carter received official word.
That's an extraordinary claim. Another compelling instance involved Colonel Rich Higgins, kidnapped in 1988 by Iranian-backed terrorists in Lebanon. Buchanan, while tracking Higgins, received an extremely strong impression. The word Racine.
Racine. Did they figure out what it meant?
It's unclear from the account if that specific detail led directly to a breakthrough, but the program aimed for these kinds of specific, potentially verifiable details. And then there's the tragic Pan Am Flight 103 bombing over Lockerbie, Scotland in December 1988.
Lockerbie. Awful.
Truly devastating. Viewers were tasked to be on board the plane at the moment of the explosion. Buchanan described the immense emotional toll this took, the pervasive sense of spirits walking the aisles. Crucially, the unit reported details about the proper baggage and provided insights that pointed towards the perpetrators.
Wow. The emotional cost must have been immense. But not every mission resulted in perfect, actionable intelligence, right? There were instances where psychic insights were either disregarded or simply couldn't provide the level of detail needed.
Absolutely. Take the end of the Gulf War. The unit predicted that if Hussein's troops were funneled in a particular direction during their withdrawal, it would lead to oil fields being set ablaze, causing an ecological catastrophe. They even offered an alternative, safer route.
And what happened?
Unfortunately, the customer chose to ignore the remote viewer's advice. The troops were funneled exactly as predicted, leading to the devastating oil field fires we all remember.
So the prediction was accurate, but ignored. That's frustrating.
Very. In the case of the Chernobyl disaster in 1986, the unit initially perceived it as an accident. However, years later, Buchanan reconsidered this after learning that a significant amount between 10 and 50 tons of nuclear fuel from the original reactor was inexplicably missing. That was the question. This raised a chilling possibility for him. Could Chernobyl have been a diversion tactic that went terribly wrong?
Wow, that's a whole other level of possibility.
Indeed. And then there were missions like tracking Colombian drug lords. While they gathered a wealth of intelligence on locations and activities, they rarely provided the precise map coordinates needed for direct raids by drug agents. So, useful info, but not always operationally actionable in the way needed.
These missions, successful or challenging, inevitably led to profound ethical questions. Buchanan recounts a commanding officer in Key West asking him directly, "Can you do evil with it?"
A blunt question.
And Buchanan's answer was incredibly insightful. "Yes, sir, but evil is a matter of interpretation." He elaborated, saying that if saving an American soldier's life is considered good, but doing so results in an enemy's death, that's good for one side, but undoubtedly evil for the other.
A classic ends versus means dilemma.
So what does this tell us about the inherent morality of intelligence gathering, especially when using such unusual means? It sounds like an ethical tightrope that never ends.
It absolutely is. And the challenge of proving psychic effectiveness was a constant struggle. They moved away from anecdotal evidence, I did this one time, towards more scientific scoring methods, often using computers.
And to quantify it.
Exactly. These systems categorize perceptions as correct, incorrect, or unknown, evaluating factors like success, failure, applicability to the customer's needs, and viewer track records. The goal wasn't necessarily to definitively prove a generalized psychic ability to the world, but to establish dependability for specific perception categories.
So like maybe one viewer was great with objects, another with locations.
Precisely. For instance, a viewer might be consistently reliable at discerning objects, but not colors. It was about finding what a viewer could be reliably counted on for operational use.
The impact of these experiences for someone like Lynn Buchanan extended far beyond just military applications, didn't it? He gained profound personal insights that fundamentally shifted his worldview.
Oh, definitely. For example, his understanding of the nature of time changed dramatically. He moved from a traditional linear concept to seeing time as ripples. Increments, whether a microsecond or 1,000 centuries, became only markers and measures, largely insignificant in the grand scheme.
Time as ripples. I like that.
The passage of time, he realized, depends more on our perception of it than anything truly fixed or tangible. He also described a deep philosophical lesson that crystallized for him through an analogy. Imagine yourself as a single water molecule in a vast ocean.
Okay.
The waves on that ocean are your life experiences. Small, gentle swells might represent the calm, consistent life of a farmer. Larger, transformative waves could be for a traveler or a scholar whose being is altered by new knowledge. And then there are mighty crashing waves, like for a soldier hurled into chaos, changing rapidly under extreme pressure.
So the experiences are the waves.
Right. The waves are not life and time, he realized. They are merely the experience of life and time, but you remain. It's a powerful metaphor for the enduring self amidst the ever-changing tides of existence.
Wow. That's deeply. The real mind-bending aspect here is the profound impact these experiences had on personal understanding, actually challenging deeply held beliefs. Buchanan, raised in a conservative religious background, even confronted the ultimate question, the afterlife.
Yes, he did. He conducted 67 spinach period sessions, as he called them, accompanying individuals through what they perceived as the process of death.
67 times.
That's what he reported. He described 4 destinations based on these sessions: heaven, hell, oblivion, where the person seemed to cease to exist, and reincarnation.
4 distinct outcomes.
And perhaps the most startling realization that emerged for him from these experiences was the honest, undeniable understanding that his body me was not the real me, a concept that suddenly made his Sunday school lessons about having a spirit within him concrete and profoundly real.
It made the spiritual concrete for him through these, unconventional means. This deep dive into Project Sunstreak has been an incredible journey, from its secret Cold War origins to astonishing revelations about human consciousness, the nature of time, and our hidden potential.
It really has.
It truly shows us that there's always more to explore, hidden knowledge waiting to be uncovered, and surprising connections to be made between the seemingly impossible and our lived reality. The story of Project Sunstreak is a profound testament to humanity's endless curiosity, isn't it? Its relentless drive to explore the unknown, and perhaps a quiet whisper that there's far more to our perception and our existence than our everyday senses reveal.
Yeah.
It leaves us pondering, what other hidden abilities might we all possess, waiting to be consciously engaged right beneath the surface of our awareness?
A fascinating question to end on. As we journey through the vast ocean of knowledge, much like that water molecule we discussed today, each deep dive lifts us higher, expanding our understanding and showing us new horizons of thought.
Well said. To continue this incredible voyage of discovery, where every deep dive is a wave of insight and every listen a step towards profound understanding, be sure to find the All Sorts podcast on YouTube. Your engagement really fuels our exploration, so please, like this deep dive if it sparked your curiosity, share it with fellow seekers of truth, and subscribe to the All Sorts podcast channel to ensure you never miss a moment of revelation.
It makes a difference.
It really does. And to all of you who have already joined our incredible crew of curious minds, our heartfelt thanks. Your support means the world as we continue to chart new courses across the landscape of human knowledge. Find us also on X, Instagram, and Threads under All Sorts Podcast to stay connected and share your own aha moments. Until our next deep dive, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep learning.